Ooh, yeah! What's up, everybody? Peter Gilmore here for another video right here on Killer O Demon 669. I had to make you wait for that. Thank you all for watching this video. Make sure you like this video. Hit that subscribe button down below. And subscribe to my other channels. Links to those down below. Before I start, ladies and gentlemen, it has happened. Yes, this channel has hit 500 subscribers. Oh yeah. Went from nothing to something. So thank you everybody for subscribing and keeping subscribing. You know, telling your friends, sharing the videos on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Vine, wherever you know you share my videos, even MySpace. I don't know if it works that much. But thank you all for watching and keep subscribing. Let's get to 600 now and we go beyond. Hopefully by Christmas or by New Year's Eve, hopefully we'll have maybe 750, maybe close to 800. And who knows, maybe close to 1,000. But that's pretty much it. So thank you all for the support. Keep up support, and that's it. Alright, it is time for your late night, Monday night Raw review for November the 3rd. Yeah, it's November already. November the 3rd, 2014. Live from Buffalo, New York. And, you know, I was hoping it was going to be a good show. And the first segment was great. You know, shocking return. But then afterwards, it got gradually boring, in my opinion. This is my video. If you don't like my opinion, well, too bad. You know, a lot of people saying that this Raw was good. Some people didn't watch. Some people, you know, kind of giving it a meh. So I kind of gave it a meh because there was some parts that just really bored me, and then you know some parts that were great. But the ending was great. That was actually fun. But you know, the beginning was good, but just like other parts, it was kind of. But anyway. Alright, we started with a recap from last week with Seth Rollins' promo saying he's done with Dean Ambrose, you know, after Hell in a Cell, and moving on to John Cena. Then we see Orton coming out, and him and Seth Rollins having words, and then, you know, Triple H and the Authority try to break it up, but Orton breaks free and hits Seth with an RKO out of nowhere! Then they show Seth Rollins and they show Cena versus Seth Rollins in the main event last week, and the beatdown on him, and then the whole roster came out, just basically to save Cena and then beat each other up. So tonight we're going to find out who's going to join Team Cena at Survivor Series. So we open the night's festivities with Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Yes, Vince McMahon made a shocking return tonight. Nobody thought he was there. I didn't even know he was there. You know, I heard his music. Vince? Is that you? You know, he comes out with Triple H and Stephanie, his son-in-law and his daughter. You know, nice family reunion. So they get in the ring. Vince gets a humongous pop from the crowd, even though half the crowd was dead for the rest of the night. What was that? Oh. So, it's just my cat just being stupid. So Vince asks us if we missed him. Yeah, we kind of did. Even though I thought your character was supposed to like be off of Raw for a while, but whatever. So he's like, he praises the Authority, he praises his son-in-law Triple H and Stephanie, and he talks about the damn network. And he mentions that for this, you know, that in November, just because they need subscribers to get to their 1 million subscriber count, I think it's like 700,000 now. I don't know what it is now. Who cares? That the network is going to be free for the entire month of November. Whoop-de-doo! So then he talks about the pay-per-view being free on the network, though you can just get it for free on the free stream, instead of watching it on the network and subscribing to the network and you just get it free, and then you have to pay $9.99 a month after that. They try to get you with that. So he hypes, he hypes the main event between Team Authority and Team Cena, but Vince wants there to be more at stake, so he wants to raise the stakes. So he talks about beating WCW and Ted Turner and all these other things. Just bring back a little bit of nostalgia from the Attitude Era. So he wants to raise the stakes. So he says that if Team Authority loses, there will be no more. They will disband, and Triple H and Stephanie will lose power. So he's kind of giving a little pep talk to Team Cena, because we all know that Team Cena is going to win, so the Authority angle is most likely going to end at Survivor Series. Though they can swerve us, how the WWE likes to swerve people. But we'll see. So they're going to leave, but then Dean Ambrose comes out, and him and Vince, meet at the near the end of the ramp, and they start talking amongst themselves, and then they shake hands. So I'm thinking, wait a minute, what's going on here? So I gave that first segment 3.25 out of 5 stars. And then we were supposed to see a match between Ambrose and Cesaro, but then we get pre-match crap. With we find out that Henry and the Big Show are gonna have a match later on. Whoop-de-doo. Then we see Vince in the back. He's about to get in his limo. We see Stephanie and Triple H. And Vince says that he felt great to be back in the ring in front of the WWE fans. And he says that I had faith in you, Hunter and Stephanie. That you guys will get the job done. So Triple H says that Vince coming back even surprised him. Well, yeah, he is your father-in-law. He runs things behind the scenes. Then Vince talks about Triple H's tie. I don't know why. I mean, he had like a pinkish tie. Who cares? And then Triple H says that, well, don't worry, Dad. We got this under control. Don't worry. And then Vince hesitates to get in the car. I'm thinking it's gonna blow up again. Like way back, right? I think it was like the day before Chris Benoit died. Whatever. And Stephanie reassures him that they got control of this thing. So Vince gets in his car and leaves, and Triple H and Stephanie talk amongst themselves to end the segment. So I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. It was just what it was. But nice to see Vince, though. So we get to match number 1, Ambrose and Cesaro. This was a rematch from the Halloween version of Halloween episode of SmackDown. This match was decent. It wasn't great. Pretty much back and forth match. Dean Ambrose was just beating the crap out of Cesaro, and once again, Cesaro gets beat. But I'll get to that in a second. They took it to the outside, and Ambrose beat the crap out of Cesaro, to the point where the back of Cesaro's head had a big, humongous gash, and blood was coming out. Yeah, we saw blood, not once, but twice on the show. And I know all the WWE fanboys, all those 12-year-old prepubescent idiot marks. Oh, the Attitude Era is coming back! Yay, we saw blood! Attitude Era! Shut up. Not coming back. As much as us old school fans want the Attitude Era to come back, not coming back. Sorry. So Dean then hits a dive on the Cesaro from the barricade. And then Cesaro comes back. We see him bleeding from the back of his head. And he was bleeding pretty badly. And then, Ambrose then fights back, sends Cesaro to the outside. And then we see the little thing for Bray Wyatt. So lights go out, and we go to commercial. Why do you go to commercial when something good is happening? Why would you go to commercial when Bray Wyatt's about to appear? And then we don't see him appear. But we see him appear after the commercial. So he's on the ramp in his rocking chair, scouting the match. Cesaro uses this distraction. He hits a roll the dice off the ropes, which is kind of sick. Dean misses the slingshot clothesline. Cesaro hits a snap German suplex, almost folded Dean Ambrose open like an accordion, and he only got 2 out of that. Dean comes back, hits a bulldog, then he hits a slingshot clothesline for 2, as Bray's laughing at Dean all the way through. Dean goes for the tornado DDT. Cesaro counters with a tiger uppercut for a 2.5. And they go back outside again, and Dean dives on the Cesaro, and he points at Bray. He's like, "You're funny," And then Cesaro crotches Dean on the top rope. He goes for a backslide pin, but Dean countered it into the Dirty Deeds double arm DDT for the win. So, Dean Ambrose gained some momentum, and I see Rosa coming, so maybe not. So he gets the win. Afterwards, Dean tries to go after Bray, but the lights go out, and then they come back on, and the rocking chair is just moving back and forth. So, I guess we're going to see Dean Ambrose and Bray Wyatt go one-on-one at Survivor Series, most likely, though I'd rather have, Bray Wyatt on Team Authority and Dean Ambrose on Team Cena. It makes logical sense, but we'll have to see in the next couple weeks. But we'll see. Alright, after that, we see Triple H and Stephanie talk about that they have to go out and be all smiles, happy, shiny, happy people, and have the strongest team Survivor Series has ever seen. So then Triple H is on his phone. He's like, I'm going to call Randy Orton. And Steph's like, what? After what he did to Seth Rollins last week? Are you nuts? So Triple H says, I need Randy Orton because Vince raised the stakes. I gotta call Orton. So he gets on his phone and he calls Randy Orton. So we'll see what happens from there. So I give it 3 out of 5 stars. Alright, match number 2. Jimmy Uso with Jey Uso by his side, taking on The Miz with Damien Mizdow, his stunt double at ringside. And this match was just a comedy match. It wasn't that great. Jimmy was in control. He tries to go for the butt splash, but Miz rolled out of the ring, and we see Sandow doing his usual stuff. And even Jay got into the act of doing it. And I was like, what the fuck am I watching? So, Miz comes off the top rope with an axe handle, gets a 2 count. And then Jimmy comes back, but Sandow tried to save The Miz, and it kind of backfired on him as Jimmy hits a super kick to Sandow. But that backfired on the Usos as The Miz uses the distraction to hit the skull-crushing finale on Jimmy Uso for the win. It was an okay match. I give it 3 out of 5 stars. I just don't care where this thing is going, if it is a thing. Alright, then we see clips of Mark Henry's heel turn from last week on Raw and giving the Big Show the World's Strongest Slam 3 times. Just more hype to their match coming up later. Alright, then we get to match number 3. Sheamus, who is in double duty tonight, and I'll get to that a little bit later. He's taking on Tyson Kidd. This match it was mediocre. It was okay. Before the match, we see Rusev's challenge to Sheamus, his title on SmackDown, and him almost hitting the bro kick on Rusev. So the match starts, and Sheamus was in control for a little bit. Tyson Kidd came back using his speed, snapping Sheamus on the top rope. He started beating him up in the corner. Sheamus came back, hit an Alabama slam, and locked in the Irish Cloverleaf. But Tyson got the ropes. And he tries to use his speed again. He snapped the neck again off the top rope before sending him to the outside. Tyson tries to go for a punk kick on the apron, but Sheamus slams Tyson to the floor. And they start fighting a little bit. And it looked like Sheamus was about to bro kick the crap out of Tyson Kidd, but Tyson threw his wife Natalya in the way as a shield. And as this is going on, the referee's counting them out. Tyson gets in before the count of 10. So he wins by a count out. Why is Sheamus losing by count out like almost every week? Because he sucks, but yeah, that's just the point. So I gave the match 2.5 out of 5 stars. Afterwards, Sheamus got all pissed off, and he's a sore loser, so he hits the bro kick on Tyson. So I mean, this was a waste of a match. I mean, they were promoting Sheamus versus Rusev for the United States title after Raw. I don't know why they had this match. I would rather have the U.S. title on Raw. But I guess they wanted, since it was free month on WWE Network, they wanted to see if they can get more subscribers. But I think it failed. But anyway, like I said. Alright, then we go to a segment with Dolph Ziggler. We were supposed to have a match, but the Authority came out. They came out in full force. Mercury, Noble, Kane, Seth Rollins, Triple H, and Stephanie, of course. So they get in the ring, Stephanie says they are ecstatic about Vince's shocking announcement early in the program, and says they are winners, and says most people, meaning the fans, put their hopes on false idols, meaning Cena, and she says that they will win a SummerSlam. Then she announces Team Authority as team captain Seth Rollins teaming up with Kane and Randy Orton. So there's 3 out of the 5 right there. Triple H says Dolph can side with whoever he wants, but must question his decision. So basically, he was trying to get Dolph on his side, saying that if he sides with Cena and if Team Cena wins, is he going to get the credit, or will Cena just be a bigger hero than he already is? But if Team Cena loses, who takes the heat? Is it going to be Cena or you, Dolph? And he asks if Cena is setting up for an inevitable loss by picking Dolph Ziggler. I doubt that. Then he tells Dolph every time he tries to raise to the top, he fails, kind of like the Jeff Hardy treatment. I can't get the brass ring. He says Dolph busts his ass better than anyone in the back, which is very true. He works so hard and just hasn't got anything good to show for it. He had one title reign, lasted about a month, and got that concussion angle with Del Rio. Oh, can't say his name, but whatever. And then he says Cena gets all the credit, and says Dolph can't break through the glass ceiling, which means Cena, of course. And then Stephanie asks, well, where is Cena? You got the night off, I guess. Triple H says that Cena's not here. We all know that. Then he says Dolph may take the gamble, and he could get everything he wants, meaning title shots, women, WWE title, fame, etc. But Seth says it's all a lot of maybes. Maybe he'll win it, maybe this and that. Then Triple H says that Dolph can just say no to teaming with Cena, and he says he has the talent and the ability, to be somebody bigger. And he tells Dolph if he wants to get rid of the uncertainties, he can tell Cena to go to hell and say no, and they will give him anything he wants. So Stephanie tells him to think about himself and not about the fans, because the fans can't no. And Dolph questions this and, the proposal, and he says, you know what I want? I want you guys gone and out of power for good. So I'm like, yeah, that's right, Dolph, you stick it to the man. So Triple H feels all bad about this, and he wanted to give the fans what they want. Yeah, like you ever do that. But Dolph is not going to let it happen. And then he says the fans have nobody to blame but Dolph, and he said, Triple H says that Dolph is going to end up empty-handed, because it's going to start right now, and he puts him in a match with Seth Rollins for the Intercontinental title. So the segment was pretty good. I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars. A little hype to the Survivor Series match, so it was pretty good. So we get to match number 4 for the IC title. Dolph Ziggler taking on Seth Rollins. This match was very, very good. Lots of near falls, lots of false finishes. Back and forth they went. Kane was out on the outside with Mercury and Noble. But like I said, this match was pretty good. Seth hit the buckle bomb for 2.5. He tried to go for a super curb stomp off the top rope. Dolph countered with a famouser for 2.5. Then Dolph tries to go for DDT. Seth countered with an Enziguri for another near fall. And then Seth missed the curb stomp off the ropes. Dolph tries for the zigzag, but Mercury and Noble started distracting him. Then led to Seth Rollins throwing Dolph Ziggler shoulder first into the ring post. Then he hits the curb stomp, and I thought it was over. The fans thought it was over. We're going to see a new Intercontinental Champion. But no. Mr. Randall Keith Orton RKO'd him. Randy Orton came in and hit a RKO out of nowhere on Seth Rollins. And then he stopped Mercury and Noble from trying to get in and save Seth. So he's like, looking around. And then he leaves the ring. And then he walks up the ramp, and Kane's coming towards him. I thought they were going to fight, but Kane starts yelling. He's like, what did you do? And Orton's like, screw you, Kane. And walks right past him. So the match ends in a DQ. Kind of sucks. I really wanted to see a winner. But the match itself was great. I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars. Alright. After that, we go to commercial. We come back, and Stephanie's telling Triple H about not trusting Orton, and Orton then comes in, and he wants Rollins in a match tonight, just put him out of his misery. And Orton isn't down with being co-captain with Rollins. He's like, I'd rather not even be on the team. So Orton goes on and on at Stephanie until Triple H says, it's like, enough! Ugh. He tells him to stop. So he tries to tell Orton that he needs to on Team Authority, and he gives Orton the match for tonight anyway, and says they need to settle their beef, and when it's over, it's over, and they gotta go to war together at Survivor Series. So basically, like a little bit of a pep talk from Randy Orton, from Triple H, and Stephanie. So we'll see if Orton could be fair, and hopefully the what was I saying? Hopefully they'll end their little beef or whatever they have. So the announcers are talking about it, and then we get a creepy little video, and it's about a bunch of eyes, and everyone's like, what the hell is this? Everybody on Facebook and Twitter were like, what is this? And I knew right away it was Luke Harper, because I could see his little mustache. So, he cut a really weird vignette, says, I'm going to use these eyes and I can see you, and all this other weird, creepy shit. But, so, we'll see what happens from there. Hopefully Luke Harper re-debuts on, with his new look on Raw next week or whenever it is. Alright, then we get another recap of, of Henry being on Miz TV with him and Sandow, talking about why he attacked Big Show on Raw. And that led to Big Show coming out, and Henry and Big Show start fighting. Henry shoves Big Show into the ring post and throws him through the barricade. So a little bit more hype to Big Show and Mark Henry, blah, 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 blah. Alright, we go to commercial, we come back in the ring, we see Titus O'Neil. He's in the ring saying that winning at Survivor Series will be spelled Titus, and he assures the Authority that, he will help them win. So he's basically saying that, pick me, that ain't gonna happen. And then we see Ryback, come out, he's made his shocking return last week. So we have the match number 5, Ryback taking on Titus O'Neil. This match lasted 2 minutes. Titus O'Neil had some problems. I mean, he was beating the crap out of Ryback a lot. He had a sick backbreaker, he kicked him in the head a few times. But Ryback came back. So Authority was looking off him backstage, maybe scouting Ryback for their team. He hits the meat hook clothesline, then he hits the shell shock for the easy win in like 2 minutes. So, yeah, it is what it is. So I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. Alright, then we go to the back. We see Renee Young with the Big Show, and she's trying to talk to him about his match with Mark Henry, but Big Show interrupts, and he talks about the opportunity to take out the Authority. And he said if Cena picked him, he would be honored to be on the team. I really would not want him on the team. I don't care because Big Show sucks. So then he talks about Mark Henry's betrayal last week on Raw, and how he got 3 World's Strongest Slams and then thrown through a barricade on SmackDown, and that Mark Henry didn't even break a sweat. So then he mentions that they did everything together. Henry ate at his house, he did this and that. Nobody cares. And he mentions that they have over 40 years of experience in the WWE. They've been around in the WWE since '94. I don't remember Henry being on the on the roster in '94. I don't know where he got 40 years. Maybe I misread that, but whatever. So he says he misses his friend, but it's a part of him that wants to knock him the you-know-what out. So their match is next. I gave the 7.3 out of 5 stars, by the way. So we get to the match, and this match was... I mean, they fought so many times. Every match was boring. But Show was in control for most of it. Henry did have some offense. Show locked in the calf killer, and Henry got the ropes. Show tries to go up top for some type of move, but Henry stopped it and flinged Show clear across the ring. And he got 2 count out of it. And we see the Authority looking on at, Mark Henry, so maybe they're scouting Mark Henry. Then he hits the World's Strongest Slam to the Big Show, but Big Show kicked out. Then Henry sends Show into the steps on the outside. He grabs the steps as Charles Robinson's telling him not to do it. Don't do it, Mark! And Mark's like, well, screw you, I don't need to do it. So he smashes the steps into Big Show's head, and that causes a DQ finish. Match itself, I gave 2.5 out of 5 stars. It was what it was, but, I didn't really like it that much. Afterwards, Mark Henry continues to beat down. Then he hits the world's strongest slam on the steps. Ouch. And that was it. So we'll see if what happens with them next week, or if they're going to be put on Team Authority. So we'll see. Speaking of Authority, we see them in the back looking on what happened, and Triple H tells Kane, you know, to leave. So he leaves, and from what I gathered, look, you know, since the Authority were looking at Mark Henry, I think that Mark Henry might be on the team. I doubt it, but we'll see. Then Stephanie says they got a good team as long as Seth and Orton can be on the same page. And Triple H assures Stephanie that they will be on the same page and they will win at Survivor Series. And then Steph tells Triple H that, well, they better win. You know, so more hype going into Survivor Series for the main event match. So I give it 3 out of 5 stars. All right, we go to the ring. We see the beautiful and very sexy AJ Lee, you know, on commentary with the Divas title, and we go to the back. We see Renee Young with Brie Bella, and Renee talks about Brie still being Nikki's assistant. I think it's been over a week now, so I think she's got about 3 more weeks being Nikki's assistant, and she's, you know, being about to talk about you know, being Nikki's assistant, but Nikki comes in and says, "What are you doing? You can't do interviews without my consent." And she says the interview is over, and she mentions that the new number one contender to AJ Lee's title is in action coming up. So right, I messed it up. So they leave, and then, you know, Renee's like about to say back to you guys, and then she's like, and then we see Eric Rowan, the new look Eric Rowan show with his, you know, goat mask is all screwed up. So that was pretty fun. So he grabs a little lock of Renee's hair and he starts sniffing it. And then he says, "Pretty." And Renee's like, "Thank you." And then she's like, runs away like a little bitch. And then Rowan puts the mask back on. And that was pretty much it. So it was kind of a weird end to that segment, but nice to see Eric Rowan back on Raw in his new weird look. I guess he's gonna be like a pervert or something. I don't know, but I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. All right, so we get to match number 7. Nikki taking on Emma. This match sucked. You know, Nikki was in control for most of the match. Emma fights back. She locks in the tarantula or the dilemma, whatever you want to call it. She tries to go for the Emma-mite sandwich in the corner, but Nikki hits a nice dropkick onto her, and that led to the eventual end. That Nikki hit the rack attack, or the shock treatment, if you will. I'm calling it shock treatment, for the win, and the match lasted about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes almost. That's horrible. So the match itself was boring. I gave it 1.5 out of 5 stars. Afterwards, Nikki gives orders to Brie, and Brie, you know, reluctantly had to do what Nikki told her. She goes to the outside, and AJ gets off commentary and just stares her down. And then AJ gets slapped right in the face by Brie, and I didn't like that. So, and then AJ gets all pissed, takes Brie down, and then goes after Nikki, but she runs out of the ring and goes off the ramp. So, I guess there's a little bit of hype for their ruined match at SummerSlam for the Divas title, and most likely I think that Nikki's gonna win, and then, you know, her and Brie gonna fight again, and I think Brie's gonna win the title from Nikki. Though, if Nikki's gonna win the title, doesn't that kind of negate the Total Divas rule? Just saying. That's it. So after that, we see a vignette of a new gimmick, but from Xavier Woods, and he's basically like a Baptist preacher. Okay, haven't we seen that gimmick before? You know, Devon Dudley did it very. Devon did it really better than that. I don't care. I want Xavier Woods released, along with Zack Ryder, Hornswoggle, Los Matadors, and everybody else that sucks. But that's just my opinion. Alright, match number 8. Alexander Rusev. Rusev smash Lana pussy. Yeah. So Rusev's in double duty tonight. I don't know why. And he's taking on Woo Woo Woo. I'm a jobber. Zack Ryder. This match lasted like a minute. And Ryder started off strong. He tries to go for the Woo Woo kick. The Yakuza kick, whatever you want to call it. But Rusev hit a thrust kick, and that was it. I mean, he sits on Ryder's back, fucks him in the ass, and makes him humble. And he picks up the victory, like I said, in about a minute and a half suckfest. Match itself, I just gave it 2 out of 5 stars. It was just boring, and I don't know why it was on Raw. Afterwards, Lana gets on the mic and says they will bring the U.S. Championship back to Vladimir Putin and Russia. And then Rusev gets on the mic, and he actually has been getting better with the English, in his promos. It's kind of broken English, but whatever. He says Sheamus will be like all the others, and he's gonna make him beg and suffer and annihilate him. And then Sheamus comes out, and he tells Rusev that he takes pride in being the United States champion for 181 days. And he says the title gives him pride to be an American, because we're America. And he tells Rusev and Lana that they are both delusional if they think that they would take the U.S. title back to Russia. And he tells Rusev that he's going to have the fight of his life right after Raw. So, good hype. So, we'll see what happens at the end of Raw tonight. So, I give this thing 3 out of 5 stars. We go to commercial. We see Rusev and Lana in the back. And then Stephanie comes up to them, and she's impressed and congratulates Rusev on his big win. And she says they both understand how to be a warrior and a winner. And then she talks about Survivor Series and the Authority losing power. And she basically offers Rusev a place on Team Authority. And then she talks again about the United States match after Raw on the network. And then Lana says that, we'll take it on the advisement and then we'll get back to you. To Stephanie, and they shake hands. So I'm thinking Rusev is most likely gonna be on Team Authority. So we'll see what happens now. So if Rusev's gonna be on it, you have to know that Sheamus is probably gonna be on that team. On Team Cena. Boring. That's all I gotta say about that. Alright, then we see clips shown of Gold and Stardust attacking El Torito. El Torito S.A. Ole! Leading to Los Matadores getting the win on them last week on SmackDown. So we see match number 9, Fernando taking on Stardust with The Miz and Damien Sandow for some odd reason on commentary. Back and forth match to start. It's very boring, and I just wanted the match to end. Cody got control. The Miz and Sandow caused a distraction. They start, messing around with Goldust, and they beat up, and I think Diego threw Goldust into Miz and Sandow at ringside, and Stars got all distracted, and that led to Fernando hitting the backstabber on Cody for the win. So it looks like maybe Los Matadores is going to go for the tag team titles. When is the Ascension coming back? They were backstage on Raw. Why? Why? I mean, why don't you just bring them out, beat the crap out of everybody? There's your debut right there. But this is WWE we're talking about. Their booking sucks. That's basically it. I have nothing left to say about that. Alright, then we get a recap of Vince's raising the stakes for the Team Cena Team Authority match. Blah, blah, blah. Then we see Seth versus Dolph from earlier in the night when Orton came in and RKO'd him. And then the confrontation in the back between Triple H, Stephanie, and Orton. And then Triple H make the match between Seth and Orton. So we go to commercial, we come back. The Authority's at ringside for the main event. And then we find out that the Usos are going to get another tag title defense against Gold Stardust, but this time it's in a 15-foot-high solid steel cage, brother, on SmackDown. So that should be exciting, but we all know that Goldust and Stardust are going to win, so who cares? Alright, main event time, match number 10, Orton versus Rollins. Match was okay. It was pretty decent. Pretty back and forth match. Lots of near falls. They went to it outside a few times. So we get near the end, and Seth Rollins tries to go for the buckle bomb. Orton counted out of it, but Seth countered right back with the insecurity. He tries to go for the curb stomp, but Orton hits a power slam. Then the Demon DDT, vintage Orton. He looks for the RKO, but Seth counted into a backslide. And who knew? He got a win with a backslide. When's the last time anybody won with a backslide? Long time, huh? Well, I might be wrong on that, but who cares? So, Seth gets the win over Randy Orton in a match I gave 3.25 out of 5 stars. Afterwards, Orton and Triple H argue after the match. And Orton then shakes Noble's hand, Mercury's hand, Kane's hand. And you only have one more person to shake hands with, that's Seth Rollins. And then Seth says he's sorry, he wants to be the bigger man. So they shake hands, they kind of iron it out. But an RKO stops that. And, I like that, RKO out of nowhere. And then he starts taking out Mercury, Noble, and Kane. And he looks to punch Seth's head off, but Triple H comes in and stops it. And, Triple H is trying to stop him, so Orton, stops him, and I thought he was going to leave the ring, but he just went boom into Triple H, and then he just knocked him out. And then Orton tries to take the Authority out again, but the numbers game is just too much. But Orton fought back, to the best of his ability. He starts beating on Seth on the table. He gives Joey Mercury an RKO on the floor. And then Jamie Noble and Kane try to stop him. And then Seth Rollins comes out of nowhere and he hits a curb stomp on the table. And Orton was busted wide open, not really wide open. He had a little trickle of blood coming from his head. And, the Attitude Era is coming back. No, it's not. So, Triple H is telling everybody to back away and, to stop. And Stephanie looks at the Carnage, and then looks at Triple H, and she basically tells Triple H to finish Orton off. So Triple H is kind of like, he's like, oh, why am I doing this? I can't believe this. I'm going to piss Randy off. So, Kane sets up the steps, and then Seth gets on the top of the table, and boom, curb stomp on the steps. Ouch. So, I guess, they were talking about Randy Orton was going to, take some time off because he's filming The Condemned, I think soon. And I think he's coming back, I think, the Raw before Survivor Series, so he's going to be out for a couple weeks. So that's the injury angle they were playing. But, so Team Authority, standing tall over Orton. And it looks like Orton, when he comes back, he's going to either, say that he took his lumps and, he got some tough love from Triple H and everybody. And, he's going to be a team player and he's going to join the Authority. And then he's going to backstab him at Survivor Series, which I think could still happen. Or he's going to join John Cena on Team Cena, and looks like, him and Cena are probably going to be the sole survivors of that team. But we'll see. So I gave the Aftermath 4 out of 5 stars. Afterwards, Seth does the pose to mock Orton and Raw. But all in all, was a Raw. I wasn't really into it. I was kind of bored after Vince's segment. Picked up with the Dolph and Seth Rollins match. That was pretty good. The ending was great. Orton getting basically the crap beat out of him. So, it's good hype to the main event, to Survivor Series. They're still building it up. Though they're not building up any other matches, and you only got 3 weeks. No, actually, you got 2 weeks, because I think the pay-per-view is on the 16th. So, you basically got next week's show, and that's it. I think it's the 16th. I'm pretty sure it's the 16th. So, you got the 10th. You basically got 1 week to, I might be wrong, 1 to 2 weeks to hype up the rest of the card. I mean, you're kind of hyping up a little bit with the Divas title, and maybe Sheamus will get a rematch either on SmackDown or on next week's Raw, or maybe at the pay-per-view, who knows. But, slowly getting the pieces together for Survivor Series, we'll see what happens. See if, what happens next week, and what happens tomorrow on main event, what happens on SmackDown, going forward, and we'll see what happens. So, Raw to me was, I gave it a solid 6 out of 10. You know, a lot of people giving it higher ratings, but that's your opinion. You know, I'm just giving mine. If you don't like it, well, too bad. So, thank you all for watching this video. Leave your comments down below. Once again, subscribe to this channel. Let's, you know, we're now at 500. Let's get to 600 subscribers and beyond. Subscribe to this channel and all my other channels. Links down below. Friend me on Facebook. Just type in Peter Gilmore. You probably see this sexy face. If not, well, that's your problem. Follow me on Twitter at Gilmore Inc. That's INC in capital letters. We have hit over 1,000 followers on Twitter in the span of just about 2-3 weeks now. You know, so the Gilmore Nation, the Gilmore Armada, the Armada Nation, running wild once again, and it can't be stopped, and it won't be stopped. So, thank you all for all the support. Keep supporting me on Twitter, Facebook, and on here, of course. So thank you all for the support on that. Also, thank you to everybody who checked out my Wayne Static video. Almost have 600 hits in 2 days. So that's my highest video to date. You know, minus the old stuff that used to be on my old channels. But to date, on any one of my 4 channels, that's the highest one I have right now. So thank you all for the support. Even though haters, you know, messed it up, but you know, they have no heart and they can suck my dick. So whatever. Not paying any mind to it. Don't care. They're all black-hearted bitches. But whatever. So thank you all for watching. Leave a comment and your feedback down below in a comment or a video reply if you wish. And that's pretty much it. So I will be back tomorrow with Gilmore Chronicles episode number 90. I'm going to talk a little bit more about, actually I'm going to talk about some TNA and Ring of Honor news. So a little bit of wrestling talk tomorrow on that. TNA review coming as well on Wednesday. And we go from there. So thank you all for watching this video. I'm going to bed because I'm tired. I got work tomorrow. So, gotta make the money. So, thank you all for watching. I'm Peter Gilmore, signing off. Peace out, everybody. Rock on. We'll see you next time. Peace.